कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम. Yes. Can someone recollect what is it that we have seen last? Yes, please. You can form the link and then move ahead. Anything that you recollect. We had stopped in the 13th adhyay, so we'll be taking it ahead. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes. Can someone recollect anything? Any point? Hari Om. Namaste, Suresh ji. Hari Om. Yes, Kartik ji, Sindhu ji, Ramesh ji, anything you can recollect from yesterday's session? We have to form the link to move ahead. Yes, Suresh ji also, your audio is working. Any points you can recollect, sir, from yesterday's session? If you can recollect, we'll form the link and move ahead. Yeah, Kartik ji. Yes, please.
Hari Om. So we ended at the point where Krishna's explaining how the body is the Kshetra, and the individual who understands it, and
Is the knower.
is in the knowing of it, is the Kshetrajna.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Any other points you can think of? Who is the supreme Kshetrajna? Who knows all the Kshetras?
Um, uh, an individual who's able to give up any attachment to um, the fruits of
Actions.
the actions.
Okay, sir. All right, sir. Yes, so that is what we see. Idam Shariram Kaunteya. For the first time, we see Krishna emphasizing very explicitly the importance of the Sharira in our sadhana. I think we all have vehicles. We do good maintenance for the vehicles. What is the reason we do that? Because we want to travel, have a comfortable journey. The same way, our Sharira is our Kshetra that we must recognize. But Krishna says there are so many Kshetras, isn't it? All of us are different emotionally, physically, mentally, different Kshetras, different interactions. There are so many. Krishna says there is one Kshetrajna for all the Kshetras. Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. Krishna says that Kshetrajna is I. Recognize the divine as the supreme Kshetrajna, master of all the Kshetras. Because knowing this, the knowledge of the field and its true knower is the greatest knowledge a being can wield. That is the greatest knowledge one can receive, is what he says. Let us continue because we stopped at the fourth shloka. Krishna says, even the Brahma Sutras, the ancient texts, they have described the philosophy, the rational, in a very most practical manner. Let us continue. Mahabhutan yahankaro buddhiravyaktamev cha indriyani dashaikam cha panchachendriya gocharaha. The field consists of the ego and the five elements, the mind, the 10 senses, the five sense components of touch, taste, smell, sound, and sight, and also the inextensible and unmanifest light. So Krishna says, what is the field? What is the Kshetra? Because Krishna said, you must recognize the Kshetra, you must recognize the different Vibhag or divisions, what are there. There are also what we call Vikara, distortions in the field. You have to become conscious. You have to understand what this field is. There are so many divisions in it. So he says, first is the mana. There is the ahankar. Ahankar is there. Anybody here who says, I don't have ahankar? No, isn't it? The I is there inside of every single person. So many times people are in the habits of saying this person has too much ego, that person has too much ego. Damleji had told me, don't ever use this word and don't ever engage in dialogues like this where you are finding out the ego. Why? Who is finding that ego in that person? The ego in me, isn't it? The ego in me is finding the ego in the other person. Instead of that, going into that, falling into that trap. Just this is a part. Ahankar is there. We have to reduce the ahankar to the point that we can connect with the supreme aham. That aham is the aham brahmasmi. That realization that will come in quietude only when the smaller ahankar vanishes. But it is present. Then Pancha Mahabhutas, the five elements. Are the five elements present in our life or inside of us? What is this Pancha Mahabhuta? Anybody? Yes. How are we connected with Pancha Mahabhutas?
Yes,
Anybody?
Bhaiya. Body is made up of Panchabhutas.
Okay.
Kshitij and
Sharira. This
Pavakal
Sharira
and
is.
Samira.
Can we just look at them if we want to just see how we can say Pancha Mahabhutas? The Sharira. Water. Jala. I think, yeah. Renuji, who's speaking? Somebody was. Yeah, it was Renuji only, isn't it?
Yes, Bhaiya.
I can. I can't hear you now. One second. Sorry, there's some distortion here. Yeah, can you hear me now? Hariom?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So, yes, Renuji, you were saying something about the Sharira. Please tell me. Pancha Mahabhuta is connected with our Sharira. Predominantly, we are Jala Tattva, isn't it? Is my audio going through? I think there's some. My screen is frozen here, so I'm unable to see.
Yes, we are made of water.
Okay, so yes, Karthik ji says we are made of water. What about fire? Is there fire inside of us?
The heat
The heat,
inside
isn't
the.
it? So many reactions inside. There is a Jaఠaragni in Ayurveda, they say, inside of our bellies. We have that instead of a stomach. There is this fire. That is the fire which is bringing about the digestion. Krishna also says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. I am that flame of Vaishvanar. So there is Jala, there is Agni. Is there Vayu?
Yes, what?
Vayu
Yes,
also,
of course.
isn't it? Continuously, we are breathing in, breathing out. Then what about Akasha? Do we have intercellular spaces inside of our cells? Each cell is made up of so many spaces, intercellular spaces it is called. So we have the Akash Tattva also inside of us. And then there is the ether also, or we can say the earth element also. We are basically what we call germ cells are our origin. We originate from it. So this aspect of Pancha Mahabhutas, this is very beautifully understood in our Shastra. It is very interesting how the origin of Shastra of these Pancha Mahabhutas is described. You'll find them in the Upanishad. And the sequence of the events of origin also, they are pretty logical and it's pretty interesting. So this these Pancha Mahabhutas are there. And there is one very beautiful saying which is said in Marathi. Vithala, tu veda kumbhar. Oh, Vithala, you are a mad potter. Why? Because like the potter plays with the five elements to make a pot, you also play with these Panchamahabhutas to create a human being. That is what the divine has done. So the five elements are there. There is Ahankar, then there is Mana. Mind is there, isn't it? Each of us have a different mind. Each of us have a different way of thinking. But mana is also there. Indriyas are there. Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas, in the senses and the sense components. In the sense, we have five senses. And then there are the sense components. Like we have eyes. What do the eyes do? They see. Ears, they hear. Nose, smell. Touch, taste. All of this. This is all part of the Kshetra. This is the field. Recognize this field. Arjuna, Krishna is saying. In a sense, he's making him more body conscious. Isn't he pushing Arjuna towards the material realization? Or is it a spiritual realization? In this Srishti, anybody? What is Krishna doing? Why is he right now? He's talked about dhyana before, he has given darshana. He has talked about way of bhakti yoga, where he says, focus on your karma, let go of everything. Now, why does he have to look around and recognize the Kshetra? Why is Krishna again bringing Arjuna back into what we call body consciousness, into the material world? When he's talking about Sukshma Jnana, he should stick to that, isn't it? Why is he talking about what is Sthula? He's talking about Ahankar. He's talking about our Indriyas. Indriyas are limited. So are the components of Indriyas. We can hear up to a particular limit only. Anybody, what could be the rationale behind this?
I
Why do you
think he's
think?
I think he's preparing him for preparing him for battle.
For battle. Yes, yes. This is something very important. I think again yesterday there was a nice question asked, which everybody gave very nice answers about how a sadhak should not be naive, isn't it? When somebody is taking you for a ride, should you be unconscious? Oh, no problem. Brahma will take care. No, we have to become conscious. We have to become conscious. Arjuna is saying, see, if you do not know, if you want to play a game, what is the first thing you learn in the game? Anybody?
The rules.
The rules, isn't it? You need to need to know the rules of the game before you become the master of the game. It is as simple as that. To become the Kshetrajna, first recognize the Kshetra. So Krishna begins. He said, there is Ahankar in this Kshetra. Lots of Ahankar. So stop wasting your time trying to find another person's Ahankar. Instead, try to eliminate the one inside of you. It's a beautiful doha. बुरा जो देखन मैं चला बुरा न मिलिया कोई जो दिल खोजा अपना मुझसा बुरा न कोई. Attributed to Kabir Das, Sant Kabir Das. Now, was he a bad person? He said, I went in search of bad people. I found nobody on the outside. But when I turned inside, I found that the worst person is inside of me. Was he a bad person? So bad that all other criminals also not so bad. Why is he saying this? Anybody?
We see our reflection in others. Generally, it is so.
Okay, that is a nice, I think it's a very introspective aspect that our reflection we try to reimpose on others. Sometimes our perceptions, things are different, but we perceive it according to our own way of looking. And many
Yes.
times it is better to correct yourself, isn't it? You want to make the world a better place. I think you should start with your backyard, isn't it? Cleaning up the world should start by cleaning up your backyard first. Something like that. I had written a poem and I once got Sakshatkar of my own Ahankar. Lucky I had Damleji's guidance because of which I saw it. But then it was very bad. It looked very ugly. I felt very small. I wrote a poem called Monster in the Mirror, where one person goes with a knife trying to search across the world. I will destroy Ahankar. And suddenly the path turns. I come back face to face to my home. And there I'm seeing a mirror and I'm saying, oh, the monster that I wanted to slay was not outside. It was here only. So this Ahankar is there. Ahankar is there inside of us. It is a natural aspect. We don't have to feel too guilty about it, but we must learn to overcome it also. This is the Kshetra. Then there are Panchamahabhutas. Understand these five elements, how they interact, become conscious of it. There's something called naturopathy also. Using the elements, you start treating yourself. It is something very special. So then there is mana. Mind is also there. The pancha, jnanendriyas, pancha karmendriyas are there. And also there is one more element which is mentioned here, which we have not yet covered. Let us see. And also the inextensible and unmanifest light. Avyakta is the Sanskrit word, that which is not manifest. There is also an unmanifest light in this Kshetra. This is something apart from all of this. If you see these divisions, the big Vibhaga, Krishna is telling, become conscious. So there's Ahankar, there's Mana, there's Pancha Mahabhutas, there's Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya, and also that light which is not manifest. Meaning, there is the divine who has not yet manifested completely. Probably our sadhana should be for bringing about manifestation only, isn't it? Of the divinity. What will happen when the divine manifests? It will be very similar to changing the bulb in your room. You are using a light with a low wattage. What happens when you suddenly get a very good light with a high wattage? It looks very bright, isn't it? But what happens? Does the room change physically? Do the items in the room change just because you've changed the light in the room? No. But then what changes? What changes? Other than the feel-good factor, do we have any benefits of having a well-lit room? Anybody?
We can see things clearly.
We can see
Things
things clearly, but little
coming
things which
from
are otherwise, yeah. Even which are otherwise not visible in our everyday lives. We are searching. We spend a lot of time searching for things, and array, this was here. I didn't realize it. Well, that is exactly what happens when the light starts manifesting. Things become clearer and clearer, and that is what sadhana needs. Why sadhana needs to be done. So Krishna goes on further.
There's
So
one
this
thing I would
Abhya,
like to share.
yeah, all right, yeah.
There is one thing I would like to share that at present, what we have done, we have hidden that factor, that Atman, and we are exposing ourselves. What we have to do with our sadhana, that we have to hide ourselves and expose that thing which is hidden
Out.
out. That should
Okay,
be managed.
our inner.
Yes.
Yes. So beautifully said. Absolutely. Unconsciously, we have hidden it, isn't it? We've not willingly done it. The good inside of us, which is brilliant. Unfortunately, the brilliant sun has been, for God knows why, so hidden and been hidden in so many dark clouds. Those clouds have to part for the light to make way. And that is exactly what is the entire purpose of sadhana as well. So very rightly said, Renuji. Let us continue. इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखं संघातश्चेतना धृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन सविकारम् उदाहृतम्. Desire, dislike, pleasure, and pain are the field's principal deformations that reign, and consciousness, differentiation, and perpetuation are its principal constituents, with many a modification. So, desire, dislike, pleasure, pain, what are all of these? These are all distortions or deformations inside of the Kshetra. Just imagine there's a white light which was supposed to perfectly manifest, but somebody kept a prism in between. What happened then? A spectral range of colors. So many different colors have come into existence. Now, in the case of Srishti, who is that somebody? That is the divine only. So because of that, we are not able to see the complete white light. Instead, we're saying, I like red, I like orange, I like green. Everybody is holding on to a different color. And these deformations are existing. Where people are having different desires. I am desire only. I am the desire is what many people believe. But they are a little more than the desire. And many times desires have an expiry date, isn't it? Like food products also, they have an expiry date. What was desired when I was very young? My desire was to open a restaurant. Why? Because I would get free food. That was a very stupid idea. But that time, that was my buddhi. So I felt because parents go to take me to the restaurant once in a while. Imagine if I have a restaurant, I'll be able to eat and I don't have to pay the bill also. No, that's a silly thought. Because as I grew up, I realized this is not how economics works. It's completely different. But at that time, it was important. Another friend of mine wanted to become a truck driver. Now, I don't think he is becoming a truck driver for his own best reasons. He knows why. But these are all desires which person have, and they are sometimes distortions because that's what we were supposed to understand was the full, beautiful white light which is unadulterated. But suddenly, this Srishti's picture, Srishti's prism is she distorting it into so many colors. Some of the colors are fine, some of the colors are not, but they are not the same white light which we have to realize. So, like that, desire is there. There is dislike also. Dvesha. I don't like this. Very strong liking and strong disliking also take us away from the path. I dislike it. I dislike that. Dislike also creates a sanskara. I don't like it. Fine. But when you dislike something with force, what's happening? You're creating a repulsion, a negative aspect inside of you. That's not required. Then pleasure also. It's like people who drink. What do they say? Jako lagi wo jane, duja kya jane. Who has tasted alcohol only will know. What does another person know? And they would rather drown themselves, irrespective of what that drink is doing to their body, what that intoxication is doing. Many youngsters get trapped in the attraction of drugs. Why? Desires have overcome them completely. Pleasure, they want pleasure, but it does not give pleasure, isn't it? Ananda is not God. No, Trupti does not come, isn't it? Problem with addict is he's searching for Trupti in the wrong place. So every time the craving keeps growing more and more, but the solution is never got. Like a dog chasing its tail. Can the dog ever find its tail easily? And it will keep running in circle till energy is exhausted. I want to go before the tail. Arey, you are already before the tail, but you don't realize that. So the circles, this go on. This is what they call the loops of Maya. Many times we get trapped in it. And pain also. Yes, pain. Pain also. Pain is real. We all experience that pain. But there are ways you can rise beyond that also. Ramana Maharshi was able to, he was a realized soul. He could, operations were done without anesthesia for him. That was unbelievable. He said, I don't want to lose my consciousness. And the doctor was afraid to do operation. Why? Why? I do not want it to be painful, it will be too much, you'll not be able to bear it. He says, I will see. I will look at it. He instructed his Shishyas, he instructed the Vaidya also, or the doctor also, not to give him anesthesia. Did he have a button to turn off the pain? No, it was not some device, outer device. It was the resolve on the inside. It was not that he didn't feel the pain, but he could detach from it. From extreme physical pain, also, one can become detached. The pain is a distortion, also. It's not required. I had asked my mother, why should people have pain? Pain should not be there. She gave me a very nice answer. I was very young. I was like, I don't like this. Why is it there? She said, while you are running and playing, one day your leg hits somewhere and it starts bleeding, but you don't feel the pain. What's going to happen? The blood will keep flowing and you will run out of blood. You will not know it only. So that is required. So each is having a purpose. But understand, these are all distortions in the Kshetra. They are existing in the Kshetra. We cannot say they don't exist. All of these are there. Let us become conscious of them, is what Krishna is saying. Then there is consciousness, Chetana. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Chetane cha Dibhiyate. Namastasya, Namastasya. Namastasya Namo Nama. O Devi, Goddess, Mahakal, Lakshmi, Mahakali, Mahasaraswati, Maheshwari, whichever name we want to invoke, you are present as what? As Chetana or consciousness. And consciousness is present where? Anybody knows the location? Door number, house number, flat number, apartment number. Where is consciousness located? Anybody? Yes, to this question of where is consciousness present? Anyone?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, isn't it, Manisha ji? Everywhere. It's in you, it's in me, it's in everyone. But what is there? There's a differentiation also, isn't it? A consciousness in each person is different. It's like each person is having a different level of consciousness. Yes, Manisha ji?
Yes, because be it a stone, be it a plant, be it an
Yeah.
animal or a human being, living, non-living, each has its different levels of consciousness, but all are conscious.
Acha, you are even saying in animals also, like animals, you are even saying non-living beings, Manisha ji, consciousness is there, is it?
Uh, yes, because
Yes, acha. Huh.
I would not be able to explain how, but
But yes,
I know.
I think there is absolutely perfectly said, and what you have understood is your realization, which is correct. Consciousness there is there in matter also. It is there. We know different conductivity and all other experiments are done. Each atom, each material has a different conductivity. Some are conductors, some are non-conductors. Each have a different pattern, but they all originated from one origin only. One element only. If you ask the scientist, he will not say elements are Panchamahabhutas. He'll say hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron. He'll go on with the full periodic table. He'll say, no, no, I don't believe in Panchamahabhutas. But these elements are there, no? What we can say there. He says, I believe in states. But states also in matter also, what is happening? You go deeper and deeper, you will see atom, you'll see subatomic particles, each having pattern, each having relation, each having one kind of. ये तो बहुत ही नटखट है इलेक्ट्रॉन हमेशा ऐसे ही जाता है it keeps moving this way. Go a little deeper, you will see quarks also. Quarks also are having and there are different types of quarks. When somebody says there cannot be anything smaller than this, they still go on making 25, 30 classifications inside. Now quarks also have been divided. People are saying up quark, down quark, color quark, side quark. I don't know what's going to happen 30 years down the line. What was supposedly indivisible is going to have 100,000 divisions maybe as technology goes deeper. But there is a pattern, there is a force, there is an energy, there is a chetana. And that chetana is something. Even nature of matter can be changed, it is said. Metals which are non-conductors we can give sanskara to them and make them conductors. A field of consciousness is passed into metals and suddenly we hear about the birth of superconductors. I think when metals can get transformed, what about human beings? We are definitely, our conscious level is little more than metals. We can also get transformed. Who knows, the new race of the supermen will come, where men and women, men in the sense, not the gender, man, humanity. This aspect of transformation is possible. So this is there. Krishna says consciousness is there. There's a differentiation of consciousness in all creatures, great, small, wise, wonderful, ant or the elephant. Everywhere this consciousness is there. And Krishna says there's also perpetuation of consciousness in nature. We pass on our consciousness, isn't it? We are inheriting consciousness, sometimes through blood, sometimes through spirit. Isn't it true? We say Amritasya Putra Vayam, Rishi Putra Vayam. We are all children of these rishis. We are all children of this consciousness. We are those who are upholding the legacy. Can we not say we are upholders of the legacy of Krishna? Yes or no? Aren't we inheriting his consciousness? And also our own, if we are, we're having children, we're having family, we're having next generations. What is it doing? It is furthering the cycle of evolution, isn't it? But is anybody teaching this specifically? Does humanity need to be taught? No. Animals don't need to be taught. Plants, no, they don't need to be taught. But this propagation of consciousness takes place. This is something which is taking place in a grand design. Consciousness has become conscious. Now, next five shlokas are interesting. Krishna talked about Kshetra. He talked about Kshetragnya, who is the supreme Kshetragnya. And then he talked about the different Vibhaga, divisions of the Kshetra. What are the, he even talked about the Vikara. Now he is going to say who is the Kshetragnya or some of the qualities. We saw a shloka, isn't it? Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Chetane Chati Bhiyate. Can we see the Devi directly with our naked eyes? No, we are not able to see. But we are able to see her consciousness. Ma Lakshmi's consciousness. How can you identify? Anybody? Anybody? Say you are in your garden. You're sitting in your garden, and how will you identify Mahalakshmi's presence or Mahalakshmi's consciousness? Anybody?
You see it in the
Diver-
beauty
Yeah,
around you.
Kartik ji?
You
The
see it in
beauty
the
around us. So specifically now there are only plants. There is nobody beautiful or there is nobody or nothing inside. How can we identify in the plants, Karthik ji?
Just as simple as how the formation of the leaf, the formation of the
Yeah,
tree, the plant,
yes,
the
yes.
size,
The
color.
consciousness, yes, yes, the consciousness is present in a garden, or whether it is not present, you can go and see in the garden. You pour water, you give right amount of nutrition, you take good care consciously, you will see prosperity in the garden. Ma Lakshmi is associated with prosperity, isn't it? What is that prosperity? Abundance of flowers, abundance of leaves, the texture of the leaves. You'll say, Ha, Ma Lakshmi is prasanna. Sometimes it is like this garden, Mahalakshmi is prasanna, the very neighboring garden. The leaves are all drooping. They are not having any experience of, will not experience it. Why? Well, the person there is not conscious of it. So like that, different places, we can identify through physical qualities, through our observations. So Krishna is now going to share us how we are going to identify Kshetrajna. Because we have to identify the Kshetrajna. Why is it important to identify the expert in the field? Because if you want to learn from the expert, isn't it? When we decide I want to enroll for a particular course, higher studies, I want to do something. I think as youngsters, when we were looking for, what would we first check? Who is teaching this course? Who all have attended this course? What is happening? Who is the expert? Who is giving that expert lecture? And then we decide. Or if you hear that, this person is coming, no matter what happens, I will not go and attend because I don't recognize this person as a Kshetrajna. So the aspect of how do we recognize that Krishna is sharing in the next set of shlokas. He goes on, Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Shantirarjavam, Acharyo, Vasanam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atma, Vinigraha. Krishna says, devoid of exhibitionism and a self-priding arrogance, replete with non-violence, compassion, and a patient tolerance, with purity from within, serving with love the spiritual teacher, and with the mind firmly in control of the lower nature. The ways of the Kshetrajna, Krishna is saying, it's all right, you don't recognize how the Kshetrajna is, but these are the qualities, these are the ways you can identify. Number one is devoid of exhibitionism. Means a lot of people have this habit. No, I have these many vehicles. I have so and so. I am so and so intelligent. I have memorized these many verses. So you see, my spirituality meter is little more. I don't think this is required. It is not required. Sometimes being quiet and silent is much better. So this is something. Many times, wisest people are more silent, isn't it? Because an empty vessel makes more noise. Something like that. Or Vidya Vinayana Shobhate. Or it is said Vidya Dadati Vinayam. When you get knowledge, you get humility automatically. So when humility is not present, what can you identify or infer? Knowledge is not present. There was some in our own apartment system. I did not know for a year that my neighbor had received a Sanskrit a medal from the president for his work on Sanskrit. Always he would smile and just a light smile, and he would not talk much. I would wonder, I didn't know anything about him. But when I did identify, it was such a brilliant aspect. I was full of awe. And when I went to appreciate him, and I said, "Sir, it is so wonderful." Hi, it's okay. Like that, he's just saying something for a big award, President's Award. Otherwise, some people go on saying that is my only achievement, and they keep on showing different things. But this is not what he is saying. That humility comes. So one aspect is this exhibitionism and arrogance, taking pride. How much pride will we take, and in what will we take pride? My intellectual faculties, I should take pride in that. How long are they going to remain with me? There's no guarantee, isn't it? Today they are there, tomorrow it may not be. Who knows? This life is very unpredictable. Will I take pride? And if I'm taking pride in that, when I lose it, what's going to happen? I will lose my source of pride also. Kyare, I was like this, I no more, I am not like this, I am just a vestige, I am just a shadow of my former self. It's not required. You are the light. You are the light. Why are you attaching yourself to something else other than the truth? Krishna goes on, replete with non-violence. Boss is teaching Arjuna about ahimsa in the Yuddha Kshetra. What is this meaning of ahimsa? Many people have misinterpreted that ahimsa means not doing violence on anybody else and bearing all the violence on self. That is also violence only, isn't it? I don't believe in hurting the wrongdoer, but I believe in getting hurt myself, though I am not doing anything wrong. Now, if we are hurting ourselves, can we call it violence? Isn't that himsa also? It is. It is what we call. Your. I think they call it masochistic, isn't it? Tendency in English. Sadistic are those who attack or hurt another person, and there are some who are attached to hurting themselves. So, what is this fine line of ahimsa? Is not wanting to harm or hurt anybody. Plucking flowers is also himsa in a way, isn't it? From a tree. Yes or no? But when you do it consciously, the mother would say, consciously go pluck the pluck the flowers before offering. Ask permission from the tree and then pluck the flowers. They are being offered to the divine, and do it gently. Consciously plucking flowers also makes a difference. Go and try to quickly pluck a flower and see with the flower what else gets plucked because you are not conscious. But instead, you have to just the right amount of force. No extra leaf is going to get plucked, nothing else. And plants also have feeling. Plants also have emotions. One bhaiya of mine, we make creams for skin healing. He said, please give me this ingredient. I said, why do you need this ingredient only? No, no, I want to apply it to the plants after it is cut so that it heals very quickly. That's his experience. And look at that. That is consciousness, isn't it? That is it. It is there everywhere. So himsa should not. Sometimes the way we eat our food also, it's like we are doing himsa on the plate and the food also. We can everywhere we can actually see the principle of ahimsa. It's actually beautiful, but it is not equal to not attacking somebody who is attacking you or not upholding the truth. That is not the meaning of ahimsa. A lot of people have interpreted ahimsa as just non-violence. Well, doctor is doing violence on patient, isn't it? He's cutting the patient's tumor. He's sometimes killing so many cancer cells. If we say each life, all lives matter, so each cancer cell lives matter, a new movement will start in the world. Then what will happen? It is not himsa there. We recognize it. It is required. It is necessary for the growth. It is against the spirit. It is greed that is growing. Greed of cells is cancer. That greed which is proliferating unnecessarily has to be destroyed. So there you have to take up the shastra. You cannot say, no, no, I don't believe in shastra at all. That is required. But ahimsa also, not wanting to hurt anybody. There is no reason to hurt anyone at all. The initiative of hurting is not required. That itself is ahimsa. That is when you are able to be calm and peaceful. Krishna says compassion. Compassion is for all, isn't it? Love for all, not only those who share your ideologies. Compassion is for humanity. We should have that for every single person. Patient tolerance, having patience and tolerance also. This is boring, isn't it? Becoming patient and tolerant. Many people say this is really boring life if you have to become tolerant. But are there any advantages of being tolerant? Anybody? Advantages of having a patient tolerance, high tolerance limit. Yes? Anyone? Or there are no advantages at all?
Getting
There is no,
command,
yeah. Manisha ji, yes?
getting command from the inner self. We
Getting command from the inner self. And also, we don't get irritated, isn't it? If we are more tolerant. After your what we can say resistance to irritation increases. Yes, Renuji, you were saying?
Yes, yes. Inadvertently, we help the other person.
Yes. It's like you get irritated, then everybody who is irritating you feel, yes, I have got first point. Now I have to get 10 more points and win. You give more opportunity for that. Instead, if you're able to develop this, you're not going to get frustrated so easily. And with purity from within, serving with love the spiritual teacher. Why they say Vande Guru Parampara? Why do people sometimes leave their homes, go and start living with their gurus, or people go serve their gurus? What is the reason? Because this is a way of receiving knowledge, isn't it? With patience, with inside, with purity on the inside. Krishna went to a Gurukul or not? Sri Krishna. He went to a Gurukul. Anybody knows the name of that Gurukul?
Sandeepan Ashram, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes. Aditi and Renuji have said Sandipani Ashram. I had the opportunity to go there. A very small ashram, actually, the place where he was. Like this, it was beautiful to imagine. Oh, here Krishna was to play as a kid. He had his friends. He did all the other aspects also, all little pranks. Sincerely, he did his sadhana. He also required a tapasya to start with, because in this srishti, this is something which is essential. This is important. And also most important, and with the mind firmly in control of the lower nature. Over the lower nature, we have to control. We have a higher nature, we have a lower nature. There is an enemy inside, there's a friend inside. That we have to understand and we have to control this. Because what happens when lower nature is taking over? Life becomes sorrowful. Everything is, oh no, this life is like this. What did I do wrong? Hey Bhagwan, मैंने तुम्हारा क्या बिगाड़ा इतना खराब कर दिया है जिंदगी में, and all these dialogues start. Because you have taken the lower nature, allowed the lower nature to take control. Instead, when your higher mind is active, you can get realizations, you can get sakshatkars, you can see beyond the horizon. Your view is no more myopic. Even in a fall, you can see this fall is also a fall to rise again. It's all right. I'm burning in flames, no problem. I am the phoenix. I'm going to rise. This realizations, this comes into a person when the mind is in control. Otherwise, full emotional khichdi and drama. That's all. You'll not realize. He goes on further. He says, Indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha nudarshana. With absolute detachment, devoid of ego's false perceptions. When you're having that vairagya, no, then you cannot be fooled. Just yesterday, one participant, she said she had complete detachments. So somebody made a prank call to her as if they're representative of some company and they wanted her to transfer some money. So she said, I allowed that person to talk for half an hour just because I wanted to waste half an hour of that person's time and then talk to her in the end that what you are doing is wrong. You are cheating so many people. I wanted to see the audio. I wanted to hear the audio because she recorded that conversation. So I asked her, please share it. So last night before going to sleep, I had a good laugh. Very quietly listening to everything that is being said. And then finally she said, you are cheating all of us. And then that person who was scamming got exposed and started abusing. Your voice is being recorded. Your everything is being noted. Your bank details, which you asked me to transfer, have also been noted. Now I am going to send it to the cyber security. This word was said, and the person hung up. And she clearly said, "You have wasted a lot of people's money. This is the least I thought I'll do. Is I'll waste your time and make you realize the world is not a fool. What you're doing is wrong." Now, what I'm saying is, when you are detached, then only you can see the tricks and scams, isn't it? If you are attached, somebody in my factory, the staff, they're all women from the village. They say you get 10,000 rupees more. They can see so many dreams with 10,000 rupees. How much difference it will make to their home. For that, somebody told you have to deposit 3,000 rupees. Here is the number and everything. Now, if this person would have got that desire for 10,000, this 3,000 rupees would have gone, isn't it? And then sorrow, and always sorrow inside. Luckily, the person was a little detached. She came and she talked about it. Is this true or not? Why could this happen? At least because there was some amount of this the complete desire was taken control, you will not be able to see also. So Vairagya is also required in life. Vairagya comes in your life, you become very cool. He was the most mischievous friend of mine in school. He was so mischievous and always up to something or the other that he had a distinction of being the only student to have a chair outside of the classroom. They had kept it. And he was so famous across full town, everybody would talk. I talked to my teachers recently also. They said never again had they given that punishment. And he would weigh 150, 180 kilos, 150 kilos when he was in eighth class. And all the teachers would hate him also, and that would not hurt, and he would laugh when he was getting hit. But he was such a jolly person. Most, what we can say, absolute vairagya, he will not care about what you ask him. Now, in a different way, we'll not call it vairagya, but as a child. But now he's become so calm, so peaceful. Everybody are actually getting unsettled looking at him peaceful. He's looking so calm. His simple dialogue also, everybody is asking, has he become a saint? Has he become quiet? But he's seen a lot of life. He's seen a lot of life, and that has brought him peace. And when you have that peace, when you have that vairagya, situations are much more easier. He's able to handle, he's a wonderful professional in his field as well. But he's able to handle it with quietude. And that quietude is, I think, what we should all cultivate in us. So vairagya is there, which will allow us to get free from false perceptions of ego. Beyond the pull of nature's sensual attractions, moha is there, no? He moha moha ke dhage, they say. These mohas, one after the other, they will keep pulling you. But when you're having vairagya, you will not get trapped. You will not get pulled. We saw a great Muni, no? Narada Muni getting trapped. When Narada also can get trapped in Maya, what about all of us? We have to be having that vairagya just to move on in life. Forget it. We are not becoming saints who are levitating just because we've got this detachment. Many people say, I will, if I do this, I don't want to do meditation, is what my friend said. Why? Otherwise, I will go into the table, is what he said. I still don't understand what he meant. But that was his reason for not wanting to raise his consciousness, saying he will not be able to tolerate it. But it's not the case. We need to raise our consciousness to meet our everyday requirements in life only. Otherwise, we're going to get trapped. We're going to suffer. And I don't think any of us need to suffer. Suffering is not necessary. Pain sometimes it's necessary, even if we don't like it. But suffering is not, and for escaping from suffering, vairagya is most essential. Krishna says, know this truth of janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, birth, death, old age, and illness. Without sorrow, understand their underlying oneness. Understand the oneness. These four give most of the sorrows. Janma does not give sorrow immediately, but after Janma, sorrow starts, isn't it? Many times this happened, that happened. Mrityu. Mrityu is, I don't think anybody can come to terms so easily with the aspect of Mrityu. It always leaves a shock. Gautam Buddha's journey began with Mrityu only, isn't it? I don't accept death. What is this? Why is it there? And then the searching started. Mrityu. Jara. Old age. My hair is growing white. Oh no. I'll cover it. I'll color it. I'll pluck out my white hair. How many white hair can you pluck and how many years will you do that? You cannot, isn't it? That is a part of life. Instead, if you're able to understand aging, I mean, childhood is gone, but has our childhood died? Inside, can we say our childhood died? No. Poets will try to write in emotional state, ki my childhood died that day, that person told me no. It's not the truth. The childhood is inside of us. We are closing it. We are closing it. Why? Why should we allow that to happen? The child inside should be alive. If you are conscious, then it is what it is going to remain. So Krishna says this, understanding them, understanding birth, death, old age, and disease, without sorrow, recognizing and accepting. Acha, say, I don't accept it. Will it make any difference? No, no, isn't it? It is a part of life. It may be difficult to accept. It may be something which is very hard. Why did Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj leave this world so early? Why did Aurangzeb get so many extra years, bonus years for all the cruelty he has done? I don't accept it. But that's the truth, isn't it? That is the truth. We have to accept. We have to accept death as a part of life. Not accepting is nothing. It cannot help you. And many times people keep on grieving, 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 and are not able to come out of it because the acceptance has never come. Second adhyay, what was it? Arjuna was continuously grieving. Krishna was crying. Na shochito marasi. Don't cry. Krishna is requesting him. Don't cry. Don't. It is a truth. It is a truth. It is not breaking news. People before also died in battles. Afterwards also people, whenever these wars are taking place. That's the aspect of being mortal, isn't it? Some people look at it in a different way. It is more special. Mortal life is more special. Life of God is boring. Because the Shan which is here now will not come again. If you can experience that, if you can experience it consciously, each moment can become brilliant. Well, this is without sorrow. We have to understand that is also way of the Kshetrajna is what Krishna is saying in the 8th shloka. And next comes the home department. He is again touching on to that sensitive topic. Again, Krishna says here, he says, Asaktir anabhishvangaha putradara grihadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishto papattishu. bereft of anxieties and familial concerns. His children, wife, and home, with detachment he discerns. So, Krishna is telling this in the middle of the battlefield. I don't think Krishna was asked for give me marriage counseling, Krishna. No, but still Krishna is speaking about this. He's talking about anxieties and familial concerns. Don't these two sometimes come together only? Familial concerns lead to anxieties most of the time. What will my son do? What will my daughter do? What will my brother do? What will my sister do? When children grow up, what will my parents do? Children start becoming parents. They have to start parenting their parents also. It becomes very difficult. They say, no, no, I cannot tolerate this. How is it? What is it? I have my friend's mother, she continuously fights with her mother, even now. So much that they say, I cannot stand her, I will not be in the same house as her. So they were living in the same city, they are living in different places because they'll have fights. Well, this is happening everywhere, and Krishna is saying, no, bereft of anxieties and familial concerns, children, wife, and home. He specifically mentions this to Arjuna. With detachment, he discerns. Means your own child, your own wife, your own house, you have to be detached. If Draupadi was there, instead of wife, should have said, he would have told husband, you have to get detached from him. Yesterday, we did look at this aspect of detachment. It does not mean becoming cold. It does not mean you become indifferent, but just that you are not getting trapped in the cycle of expectations everywhere. Krishna is saying, wife, children, home. They are your own, dearest. But even the dearest, you have to let go, isn't it? Or can I control them because they are my dearest? This is one wrong feeling people feel. They say, they'll trouble a lot, and then if I don't shout at you, whom will I shout? Somebody on the road. No, but if you really care for that person, why are you giving this person entire brunt of what you are not giving to the rest of the world? Be little more dani. Share it with the people on the road also, what you are sharing. But this attachment is there. This attachment comes. Like, I fight because I love you. This is a dialogue which people say. I don't think you need to fight, isn't it? Is fighting necessary? Or is it a distortion in relationship? Somebody says little fights are good. But can we control frequency or intensity of the little fights? Or little fights only suddenly become out of control most of the time. You said this that day. How dare you say this to me? This dialogue is there. I said this because you said this in this. That's all. Entire house sounds like you are not in Swargalok, you are in Narakalok only. That feeling comes for everybody around, including the people who are fighting. Namleji would say this mother also, the mother of the Shravadashram says when two people fight, both are wrong. Because both are holding on to one attachment. No, this person is holding on to this attachment, other person. Where is the reconciliation going to happen? So again, detachment is required for reconciliation. Otherwise, there will be no reconciliation. There will only be compromise. What will happen when there's a compromise? It's always a temporary truce. When the side which has higher force, greater logic, has won that particular debate. Next debate is going to come, and that time when this person's force is less, it will be returned. So this is important, Krishna says. He says, and his mind is ever immersed in truth's tranquil, irrespective of the happenings for or against his will. Means the person is embedded in truth consciousness at all times and is tranquil, whether or not things happen according to your will or they go against your will. Means we have an aspiration, we want good things, all right. But sometimes good things don't happen. What can you do? Can we cry like child and shake hands? I'm going to throw this, I'm going to throw the book, and then will bad things become good because you've thrown objects and irritation and frustration? No, it's not going to change at all. I had an opportunity of seeing from close one father looking at his children whose aim or ambition only was to disturb the father and irritate the father, make the father feel helpless and weak. Now, when somebody hears this only, it becomes difficult, isn't it? Someone who's taken so much care and raised with sort of love. Again, love also is not investment. No, I did this, so I get in return. But many people, they expect, no, I have done this, so I should get this in return. So this is supposedly the worst moment for anybody's life. But I saw that person sitting quietly and calmly. So many things were being told, so many things were being uttered, but the person was having this tranquility. And that was the yogi. For me, I felt this is the right person. This is the yogi. I can see. When you see someone free from anger and fear, you can understand that the sage is near. Krishna has told the Lakshmana. Everybody was working to trigger him, and he was not getting triggered. Now, isn't that a quality which is brilliant? Otherwise, what will happen? People will feel broken. I see no light, I see no meaning, I see no purpose. So again, Vairagya is required for so many reasons. If you just try to understand why Vairagya is required, well, Vairagya is required for every little thing to experience life in a much more beautiful manner, to understand, to grow, to blossom, to evolve your personality, everything. And Krishna says, first thing is get detached from your family and your home. It doesn't mean that a mother should lose the mamatva, mamatva or the love. The love will never reduce, but your attachments will. And that is important because what happens then? If people know your attachments, they'll manipulate you. That is not something you want. And children are very good. They know how parents can easily bend where it has to be done. Purposely, even now, sometimes I tease my mother with one song because I know it makes her emotional. Kya main itna bura hu main maa? Immediately, she says, get up, shut up, don't speak anything, go. Because this is the aspect. Otherwise, people will take us for a ride everywhere, workplace, home, any place. So this vairagya is required. Krishna says, even vairagya from your loved ones will allow you to see objectively. Otherwise, you will be completely biased. My friend had a crush on someone. That person was beautiful like the moon for the first year. Second or third year, he started seeing that moon is having too many craters. And now he was seeing only craters. He said, where is the beauty of the moon in first year? What has happened? Has the moon changed? Or it is his perception, it has changed? Or what happened? His love, which he was writing poetry in first year, suddenly changed and no, it was not that. It was his attachment. His attachment did not allow him to see objectively also. Sometimes you have to talk, you have to speak, you have to give the tough talk to your loved ones also. In that, you have to not be emotional. If you become emotional, again, you're going to fall in the trap. Instead, words have to be spoken, how they have to be spoken. All that you need a control, and Vairagya is important. For loving better, also, you need to be detached. To love better, to evolve better, you have to have detachment. And that's what Krishna says. He goes on further, he says, Mai chananya yogena bhakti ravya vicharini vivikta desha sevitvam arati jana sansadi. Bhakti has again come into this. Bhakti is one aspect. Love for the divine, love and adoration for the divine is like a cheat code in the game of life. It suddenly makes everything easy. All rules are bent. It is something like that. Krishna says practicing yoga with the greatest devotion, loving the Supreme with an unswerving dedication, with the mind directed towards an inner clarity, away from the crowds and gatherings of outer vanity. Krishna is saying, let your focus be kendrit towards your laksha. If your laksha is to realize the divine, your laksha is to grow, your laksha is to progress, to evolve as an individual, to experience the full experience of life. Don't get trapped here and there. With full devotion, full dedication, seeking the divine. Directed towards the inner clarity of things. Why are these things being done? Become conscious. Why am I doing this? Is it necessary? A lot of things we do unnecessary in life. They're unnecessary baggages we carry. Not required at all. Sometimes you'll see there is no need to fight with the person also, and you've just been fighting because it's happening. Grahas are not good, Kala is not good. We'll say all extreme explanations we will give and we'll justify that and we'll still remain in that mold only. Instead, if you can break that chain, you can break that cycle. When you're conscious, your eyes will see what Krishna says, Ya Pashyati Sa Pashyati. You'll be able to see that. The mind should be directed though, to that clarity of things. I want to get the clarity. Sometimes it's difficult. Why do you need clarity for little things? Yes, maybe somebody is getting irritated. Don't show it to that person that you're seeking clarity, but on your inside, you must seek it. You must get that clarity. It is important. Only then can you move ahead, away from the crowds and gatherings of outer vanity. Away from the crowds, hanging out. Is Krishna saying don't hang out with friends at all? What is this meaning? Go away from the crowds. But most of the time, what happens when we hang out with friends, when we go to parties? We come up with world changing ideas. We transform the universe, or we don't. We engage in some gossip which is going to make Krishna also prasanna and give us Ashirvada, or what happens there? Most of the time they engage in useless gossip, isn't it? This person, no, I saw this person doing this, that person was doing that. This is the entire discussion for no reason. Or somebody tries to show off to other person, I am better, I am like this, I am like that. Most of the time, then people have alcoholic drinks also in gatherings because we want to enjoy. But what happens then? Do you become conscious or do you become unconscious? You become more unconscious, then the person is unconscious, says something, speaks something, blurts out a secret which is not supposed to blurt out, and again hell descends. Instead, don't, because many times that is why sadhaks avoid. They say, I avoid going into places where I'm going to reduce my consciousness, lower my consciousness. I don't want to scatter my tapabala, which I've gathered with tapasya. I don't want to let it go. But this is not a hard and fast rule that nothing good can come out from going with friends, meeting up with friends. I had a good chance very recently when I went to Surat. It is a dry city. Gujarat is a dry state. And somebody said, we'll talk about Gita. First thing I was I don't think we should talk about Gita. But this person was a close friend and also a spiritually interested person. So I'll chal, theek hai. He took me to a cafe. I was like, hey, Bhagwan, now what are we going to do? He said, there is a mic also. I was now thinking, what is he going to ask me to do? And then there were 10, 15 people, all were of different ages from different fields. And we are going to discuss. I said, what is this place we are going to discuss? And he said, no, we keep meeting regularly. So one hand he gave a plate of dhokla and next he's asking you start speaking about Gita. I was so surprised, what is this? But I found out that yes, these are people from different disciplines. They are meeting together to understand problems of society and how we can address what can we do. They are trying to learn, give and take. So not all meetings are bad. That was one understanding I got. And I saw ki wow, people can meet and do things good also. Means then if why one? When 100 people come together, brilliant, but let them be of the same consciousness or having the aspect of Loka Sangra, such meetings are worthy. Otherwise, they're absolutely unworthy meetings only. Nothing comes out of it. You can avoid it. It's actually like a waste of time. Instead, spend it for quality time with people you care or people who care for you instead of just wasting it in different places. Because many times that's what people do. So Krishna says, go towards that inner clarity. Stop that. Stop those crowds unnecessarily. It's not required. We stop at the 11th shloka now. Krishna says, Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanath darshanam etat jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yadat yat atonyatha. So what is ajnana? Anybody knows the Sanskrit word which is the opposite of ajnana or ignorance? Yes?
Pragya,
Jnana,
Gyan or
isn't it?
Pragya?
Yeah, Gyan or Pragnan. But what I meant to say is in Sanskrit, Jnana, Ajnana. Means that when you add a as a prefix, it becomes the opposite. Means now, what is sin? How do you identify it? What is not virtue can be called sin, isn't it? As simple as that. So Krishna says this is the way of the Kshetrajna. Anything against this is the way of the Kshetrajna. These are the qualities, these are the aspects. If you cultivate them, you can become close to Kshetrajna. What happens if you don't cultivate them? Anybody? By inference. He says if you cultivate it, you can become Kshetrajna. So if you don't cultivate them,
You move away.
you move away from the path, isn't it? That is the simple aspect. Like what is punya, what is papa, anything that is progressing, is taking you ahead on the path of the spirit, which is blossoming your personality, that can be called punya. Doing anything that is preventing the manifesting of the higher consciousness in you, or which is preventing the growth and fulfillment of your personality, that can be called a papa, isn't it? Punya is moving ahead, papa is that which is not, which is stopping back, stopping you, holding back. So, like that, Krishna in this shloka, he says, seeking the true knowledge, spiritual, understanding its principles, philosophical and factual, all these conform to true knowledge's way. So if you want to understand the way of the Kshetrajna, maybe I don't fully understand how Krishna, the supreme God, or how is he conscious, or how is he Kshetrajna, or I'm not able to see him standing in my life, or I'm not able to feel his presence. It's all right. But I can see lakshanas, I can see indications, I can see signs, I can see qualities. Chalo, theek hai, I'll stop being a show off. I'll stop being arrogant. I'll stop doing all of this. This will help me rise. Whether or not you see Krishna, it's fine. You will definitely rise in your consciousness. That is a guarantee, isn't it? In your life. So Krishna says this is the way of knowledge. All these things. Serving your guru. Many people sometimes, big CEOs of big industries, suddenly, have you heard of it? They just go and pick up a broomstick and start doing jadoo in some ashram. Have you heard of that? Anybody? Have you heard of anybody big, big leaders and industrial experts who are having so many, materially they're very rich, but then they suddenly choose purposely to do some works which are, people will see it is lesser work. It's not a lesser work. Has anybody come across this or at least heard of this concept? Because from beginning in our Sanatan Dharma, we have the concept. Vairagya is there even for Rajas. Rajas would suddenly, the concept of so many saints have been actually kings before. So, why do you think this aspect people do this, especially this particular act? This is something I have myself seen also in many pick up a broom and start doing. And nobody, it's not for the cameras, it's not for the reels, it's not for some publicity. They just do it quietly, quietly doing service. Anybody? Even in the ashram, Sri Aurobindo ashram, Pondicherry, people come offering service. Why do you think people do that?
To get closer to the divine, ignoring
Yes,
all.
yes. They understand this to be a path of knowledge. When they bow, they bow. Why do they bow? Because ahankar they want to remove. Like that, when they are taking a broom and they are doing cleaning, what happens? Has anybody done that in some place? Gone to a place which is not yours, taken a broomstick and started cleaning? Has anybody
Yeah,
done that anywhere? Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I have done it, sir. In a Gurudwara, I
Oh,
have done
great,
it.
sir. You have done it. Would
Yeah,
you like to just share a bit about it? And then we'll
yeah,
probably
sure,
conclude
sir.
after that.
In Bangalore, in
Where was
Gurudwara,
it?
it was in a
Acha,
Gurudwara, sir. I have been
okay,
to
sir.
Gurudwara.
Ha,
I,
ha,
uh,
ha.
though I don't, I'm not a Sardar. I just went there
Ha,
once
ha.
one day. I was so impressed with the cleanliness maintained there, the order maintained there. Unlike the other
Ha, ha.
places, I was so impressed
Okay.
with that. So I just did. I went and I offered
Let me
to clean
contribute something.
Yeah, I just asked the person there also. Can I? He said,
Ha.
by all means you can do. I saw people doing
Wow, wow.
different sort of people. A couple of businessmen were there. They were all doing it.
Ha.
So I said, okay, why not? Why can I not do it? He said, yes, you can go ahead and do
Yes,
it. So I started cleaning the
yes.
utensils, served food, cleaned up the after
Hmm.
the food was taken. So it
Wow,
gave me a lot
wow.
of joy. It gave me a lot of joy.
It
In
gave a
fact,
lot
it
of
is a
joy,
regular
isn't it?
practice. Once in a month I go there. Once in a month I
Oh,
go.
lovely, sir. This is, I think, a great example
Once in a
sir has
month I
given
go
to
there.
all of us.
Once
That's
in a month I
wonderful to
go.
know, sir.
Called a
Yes, sir.
langar, and
Does it make you lesser? Does it make you lesser in any way?
yeah, I am totally free and totally in a different world. That is my experience in a
Yeah,
different
that's
world.
is a different, and it doesn't make it gives you a fulfilled experience, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely yes, definitely yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So
In fact,
many of
I
them.
make it a point that once a month I go there. Once a month I go
That's wonderful. I think we should all follow Rameshji's example.
there.
This is a nice one. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ji, sir. Hari Om. So this is the thing, and so many of them, when they start cleaning, no, the dust and all, or they take the broom and remove the dust, they are not only cleaning the dust on the outside, the dust inside also clears. Do it and see. Experience it. Your thoughts change. In that humility, you start receiving. That is why Guru Seva is not for making the Guru feel, I'm having itne sare chele, I'm having all of this. No, it is for the Shishya needs to do. It's not the Guru is asking for it. Because while the person is doing that, while Krishna was serving in the Sandipani ashram, there he did get some more realizations. He's an avatar, isn't it? And yet the avatar himself is leading by example. Why not? Where are we? Why are we not following it? So that is like each of these points which Krishna says, these are the ways of the Kshetragya. Vairagya towards your own family members. It's so important. It will help you. Sometimes it can help you steer. One person doing sadhana in the family can take the whole family ahead. The tapasya, the yoga bala of one individual can, because you are born no, in a system, a family also, you didn't choose your family. There are so many permutation, combination of reasons that you were born in that home. So many factors, and you are like a collective soul there, connected with each other. So when one person, sometimes people say Pitar Shraddha is not done, it's okay. This person has done this karma, this seva, this tapasya, they are receiving the Shanti and Punya also of this person's tapasya. The yogis also, when they go into the forest, they are doing what? Tapasya only. The same tapasya of an individual sometimes can bring about a big change. And uddhar of the entire family can happen by just one individual. And I think even in difficult moments, sometimes one individual can take a person out of it, no? It makes a lot of difference. So vairagya is also required, humility is required, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. Let us accept all of these. Illness also. I don't like illness. Anybody likes illness? No. But our liking or disliking will not make a difference. We'll have to try to overcome. We'll have to try to the best of our abilities. So this is what Krishna says. All this conform to the way of knowledge. All against this is ignorance, one can verily say. So just instead of what not to do, just let's focus on what to do. Automatically, we will be on the right path. So to understand Kshetrajna, this is actually an interesting chapter. It will again becoming metaphysical after being so practical now. What is this? What is the Kshetra? What is the Kshetrajna? What is the field? Introduction of Purusha, Prakriti, all of that's going to happen. But this is the base. Like in Bhakti Yoga, we need to recognize who is the dearest devotee. Like that in practical, am I following it? Am I getting ankar just because I realized something? Just because I realized a little bit, suddenly am I becoming the Raja of the world? I have to teach the world what I realized 20%. No, it's not required. Realize, the world will come automatically. So with this, I think we can conclude. If somebody can just summarize something that we saw today, and we'll conclude with the Shanti Mantra after that. Yes, please. Anybody, anything you can summarize. Doesn't have to be word to word or all shlokas also. Today both Dr. Swarupa and Chaitanya ji are not present, so we cannot wait for them. So I will require somebody to help me complete this daily ritual, whether or not we like it, we're doing it, isn't it? So somebody, please do help this way. Yeah, anything you recollect. Some points. Yeah. Anybody? All right, Renuji. Yes, please.
So many things have been said. So,
Ji.
so in this chapter, we realize the Kshetra, the
Ah.
Kshetra, our body, it is made of Panchabhutas.
Yes. Mana,
And each,
Buddhi, Ahankar.
yes, Man, Buddhi, and Ahankar, and each and everything has its own significance.
Yeah.
It has its own
Yes.
in the field also.
Yes. And there is something called avyakta, no? The light which is not manifest, which is
Yes,
there in the
which is,
field. Means our field is surrounded with that light. We don't
yes,
know about it. It is there.
we don't know about it, which we have to experience it rather
Yeah.
through our sadhana. And again, the bhakti, the word bhakti again comes here.
Ji.
And it is through bhakti only we can realize it.
Yes.
Presence of the avyakta.
Yes. 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 Through bhakti, we can also, can we experience vairagya also through bhakti?
Yes, because we are getting
Ye-
attached to something very supreme.
Yes. So we're at least holding on to the divine. कि अरे
Ye-
आप देख लेना. This is difficult. I don't have any picture. Okay, I'll hold on. Please
Yes,
help me.
yes.
Trahimam. Okay.
So that
Abs-
that will automatically bring the vairagya in us, the detachment in us. That it
Ji.
attachment to the lower things we can call in the samsara. We attach to very little things, but we have to get attached to the higher supreme, from that which we have detached ourselves.
Ji. Yes, ji.
Again, you spoke about that the light.
Hmm.
So once that light is lit within us, we can see, we can have the clarity of everything. But we as a bodily human beings, we act as a prism, we disperse the light. We have our own likes and dislikes, and because of which the pleasures, likes, dislikes, desires, it is because of these things which we are caught up in the Maya, in the field, in
Yes,
the field of stress, we are in the field of suffering also.
yes. So when we get free from this, we can experience joy with our loved ones also, isn't it? Gita is not asking us to leave our loved ones, saying this is all asatya or this is mithya, these relations are mithya. No, it's not that. But what is mithya is the unnecessary tensions, unnecessary sufferings, unnecessary frustration. That
Yes,
is what we want to.
the worry. We can
Yes,
experience the joy in fullness, rather, we can
yes,
say. We don't
yes.
experience the joy. It is the happiness
Right?
which we experience, and the happiness is very much transient. Now I am happy,
Yes.
and the moment I'll be unhappy, because the thing
Okay.
which we are holding
Ji.
for happiness, that is gone now.
Yes. But really just one question. If you see your childhood classmate, if you see some of them, suddenly you start laughing or smiling, isn't it? Naturally, it comes up. No? If at all you come across your classmate from school, you
Yes,
still as a
that is
child.
that is the joy.
That is a joy. No? That is a joy which can be got by meeting everybody we know. We can
Yes,
get that. But
yes,
we are not because of so many reasons. So probably we'll have to find that. What's the SOP there? That is what Gita is talking about. So yes, anything you wish to add further?
and then you at the last you spoke about the Kshetragya also. What are the qualities? The
Ji.
main thing was the main thing which I today my learning was, what is Vairagya? Vairagya is not expecting out of something. This term
Yes.
Vairagya, I was thinking about it. What is Vairagya? Becoming detached. This was the concept I was having, but the word which you spoke, that we should not expecting out of my home, out of my relationships. If I am expecting something about from someone, that is attachment, pure attachment.
Ji.
Loving
Absolutely.
something without any expectation is detachment, that is vairagya. And then I can
Beautifully said.
experience the true
Ji.
joy, and then I can have the right perception also, the right thinking, the clarity. I can be very much objective in examining or seeing something. I can see the very
Yes.
objectively the situations also, and I can be
Yes.
very,
Yes.
I can be at very peaceful and calm from within also, without.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very thin line, isn't it, Ji? A very
Yes,
thin line.
yes,
Means what you have to let go, what you have to accept. There is a very thin line. We have to understand. Many times, because of emotions, we discard everything, or because of emotions, we accept everything also. So there's a beautiful bhajan of Shiva. It is called Janma. In that, the lines are like this: Janma Janma Taha Yogi, Sansari Ananda Bhogi. Means this yogi of births, several births, he's taking the Ananda in the Sansara. The question is, Viragi ki Manu Bhogi. Should I call him Viragi or should I call him Bhogi? I don't know. Is he taking the Bhog of the Sansara? But he is taking the Ananda in the Sansara, but he is not getting trapped in the Karma Bandhana. So that is probably the way of the Kshetrajna. Krishna also was like that. He was Ananda. Wherever Krishna went, that place would become the source of Ananda. Arjuna is yet to realize it because of his attachment. He is next to Krishna and not experiencing Ananda. That's the sad plight.
and you spoke about ahimsa also.
Yeah,
It,
yes, Ji, Ahimsa.
in
That's
the
also a quality.
battlefield, Krishna is speaking about ahimsa. That is not hurting
Yes,
somebody through your thought or action. You have to
yes, yes.
do your work, your duty, without getting attached to it, without getting attached to your emotional part. That is the thing. That is ahimsa.
Yes, yes. Ji. All right. Ji. So I think thank you yes, Ji. Thank you very much, Renuji, for the beautiful summary. I think you can also continue. We do not have to wait for Chaitanya ji, and your summary is also wonderful. And Swarupa ji also, just like that, everybody It'll be nice if each of us, because each of us are having a different flavor, so each will have a different understanding, a different sharing, which will help all of us also. So again, thank you. Let's conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna Vande Jagat Guru. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste. Hari Om. If there are queries, they're welcome, or we'll conclude today's session.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hari Om.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ji. Suresh ji. Namaste.
So
Yes, sir.
there is a word in Sanskrit, arista varga. What is it? 6 things which we have to denounce? Is it the same thing what we learned today?
There are, we can say there are many, what we can say, but it we say one more phrase is there. Sarvatra ati varjet. Means ati, when you excess of too much of excess of anything is also means varja is, which is what we can say. Now Ayurvedic doctors say this kind of foods are varja, depending on prakriti. For a kapha prakriti, these type of foods need not be taken. So what you are talking
No,
about
I'm not saying that.
No, no,
Aristita varga.
Is
Six
it? I will have to
qualities.
check it.
6 qualities we had to: anger, jealousy, desire.
There are shad ripus. There are 6 ripus. They say 6 enemies. Kama,
yes.
Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsar.
Yes.
Yes, that they must be the one. That's a classification. Somebody, some saint must have given, some rishi must have given that classification.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir. All right, sir. Ji.
Namaste.
Namaste, ji. Hari Om. So we conclude
Hari Om.
today's session. Hari Om.